Lucky!
Mario Kart, one of the best-selling Nintendo franchises to this date. It is such a simple concept for a game, and yet it succeeds to sell all around the world. Put Mario and his friends in a bunch of go-karts, and you will be guaranteed to make the dollar bills. In fact, they are making so much of a profit that they're still selling copies of the games many years after release. Don't believe me? Last month, the famous Japanese blog column Famitsu put out an article with a list of software sales in Japan. And as you can see, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is still within the top 5 selling games, more than 5 years after its release on the Switch. That is absolutely nuts. After many years of Mario Kart, the series still has not been dethroned by some other kind of racing game. And it's not like the companies have not even tried. Oh god, they have tried. There's so many games that play just like Mario Kart. Hold on, let me rephrase that. There are so many games that try to be like Mario Kart. These are the games that are considered Mario Kart clones or rip-offs. I have a bunch of them here. Some are considered good. Really good, actually. Some are considered, not so good, or just utter garbage, as you might want to call it. Yeah, and I'm about to show them off. Hope this will be an interesting video. Enjoy! Alright, first off we start with CTR, Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled. This is the remake of the original PlayStation 1 game from 1999, and I actually haven't played this up until now. So let's pop the game in and see if we can see something life-changing. Now that is what I call a title screen. Oh, you guys are going all out with the agreements here, aren't you? After 43 pages of agreements selling my kidney to Activision, plus 36 more privacy policy pages, we finally can play the game. And I'm glad to say that the game is actually really good. It has everything you would expect from a AAA game. There are a lot of different modes to play, and a bunch of extra stuff such as unlockable characters and customizable vehicles. The main mode I played, however, was the adventure mode. This mode is comparable to that of Diddy Kong Racing on the Nintendo 64. You essentially have a big open hub world with portals to racetracks, which you need to win in order to unlock different racetracks and characters and so on. Driving around the island, I immediately noticed the controls are vastly different from Mario Kart. When I first laid my hand on the controls, I thought the controls were pretty weird, because I didn't understand how the game worked yet, so I tried to toy around with it on the island itself. And that's when I noticed the drift button was bound to 2 buttons. Both the R1 button and L1 button on the PlayStation DualShock controller act as the drift button. But here's the thing. You need them both. That's right, you need both buttons in order to drift properly. You hold one of these buttons to drift, and the other one is used for additional bursts of speed, which you definitely need if you want to win these races. You need to hit the button at the exact timing to gain the additional burst of speed, which is gonna make the game a whole lot more difficult. After making a few laps around the island, I got used to the controls and I finally started to play around on some of the tracks. I had a lot of fun doing this, it was really fun to play. The tracks are very well designed, and the tracks are also very pleasing to the eye. Racing against AI is also very challenging in this game. You can easily lose to the AI if you mess up too many drifts. After spending a lot of time in adventure mode, I tried to do some different modes in the main menu. The modes I tried out were Ring Rally and Battle. Ring Rally is actually a race against the clock, and when you drive through the rings, you get time back in order to complete the race. And if you miss too many rings and run out of time, you'll lose the race. Battle mode, however, is just your standard battle mode. The one I played was called Last Card Standing. You could see this as a Battle Royale mode because the last card standing is the winner. It's basically the same thing as Balloon Fight in Mario Kart, but in this mode, you do not respawn. There are some minor things that I don't like about this game. My first complaint is that it's locked to 30 frames per second, which is kind of distracting if you're used to Mario Kart 8's 60 FPS, but after you get used to it, it's not that big of a deal. One major complaint though is that some characters are only available in the Pit Stop shop, which is a shop which you can spend your currencies in, and these currencies are obtainable by, you guessed it, purchasing with real money, although you do collect cash by just playing the game, so that makes purchasing the currency with real money optional. My problem is just that I would have much preferred it if you could unlock the characters by just playing the story mode. And some characters are actually unlockable through the story mode, but not all of them. Which is kind of a shame in my opinion, but hey, if that is my only complaint, it's a good game all around. Alright, with Crash Team Racing marked off the checklist, it's on to the next one. Next up, I will show off some Sonic games. I'm not gonna show off Sonic R or Sonic Riders because they lack the basic fundamentals of being a Mario Kart clone. But the games we are gonna look at are Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing and All-Stars Racing Transformed. I played both of these games back in the day, and they gave me some good memories. The very first All-Stars Racing I mostly played solo, but Transformed I played a lot online with my friends. Both games don't play that differently. The only thing is that in Transform you can transform your vehicle. This again copies elements of Diddy Kong Racing by transforming your vehicle into a boat or an airplane. Only this time around you use all of them in the same race, instead of being limited to just one vehicle per race. This was pretty much Sega's response to Mario Kart 7 adding hang gliders to the karts. The original, however, just played like a normal ordinary Mario Kart clone. This is totally fine unless the game sucked. Which it didn't, because if it did, the sequel wouldn't exist in the first place. If you want to compare the two games to each other, you will find some differences, but not too many. Both games have about the same amount of content, but the game modes are a little different. For example, they replaced the mission mode in the original game with World Tour. The mission mode in the original game is as simple as it can get. In this mode, there are a bunch of challenges you can complete, and if you have what it takes, you can go for the highest rank possible. In Transformed, this is basically the same thing, but they expanded it over a world map. Also, instead of getting rated with an A, you get stars. With these stars, you can proceed on further on the world map, and even unlock new characters. Unlocking new characters was also done differently in the original game. Here it is comparable with Crash Team Racing. You can buy the characters from a store with in-game currency, which you collect after completing races and missions. This time without microtransactions. This also makes it fairly easy to unlock all characters, which is the total opposite of Transformed, because that was actually kind of difficult. But I will say the characters in the original game are a little bit better in my opinion. And that is because in Transformed there are actually some weird additions. Like out of all characters you have Wreck-It Ralph. Last time I checked, Wreck-It Ralph was owned by Disney, not by Sega. Also, Danica Patrick? What the hell are these characters, man? That would be the same as adding Max Verstappen to Mario Kart. Like, what the hell? My guess is that these are just sponsored characters. Well, at least there's a silver lining in these characters, because if you have the Steam version of the game, you can play as the characters from Team Fortress 2. I'm not kidding. This is actually a thing. I do know you could play as Banjo and Kazooie in the Xbox 360 version of the original game. But there's just something weird about seeing Team Fortress in a Sonic game. Okay, I think I've talked enough about the characters itself. Let's move on to the tracks. The original game has more tracks than Transformed, but Transformed tracks make up for that with they're just way better. There, I said it. I don't care if you disagree. This is my opinion. A lot of the tracks in Transformed are based on older games. Yes, the original had tracks that were from older Sega games as well, but you didn't have tracks like Panzer Dragoon, Golden Axe, and Burning Rangers. That's right, goddamn Burning Rangers. This game only has one version and it's still the Sega Saturn, but yet they decided to make a track out of this. That just blows my mind. Also, this is one of the best music I've ever listened to in a racing game. Alright, it's clear to see that both of these games qualify as a Mario Kart clone and are actually really good games. So let's move on to the next one. Alright, it's time for something a little bit older. This is Looney Tunes Space Race for the Sega Dreamcast. I played this game when I was like 6 years old, so I do have a lot of nostalgic feelings for it. So I hope it still holds up even today. It was released back in 2000 after all. But after finally playing it again, I know why I loved this game so much back in the day. Because it actually is a really solid game. The gameplay is fun, and in my opinion, the graphics still hold up to this day. It is way simpler than the other games we've looked at. You don't even have a drift button. It's really that simple. It's just accelerating and braking at the right time, but you are able to do a boost if you pick up 5 cans that are spread around the track. That the game is really simple doesn't matter, because this is one of the most chaotic Mario Kart clones I've ever played in my life. Like, the items are as Looney Tunes as it can get. It's insane. You can throw bombs, shoot ray guns, elephants fall out of the sky, it's absolute mayhem. And the AI definitely knows how to play around with it. As an example, this bit over here. I got crushed by a massive safe, and then directly after that, somebody shot me with a ray gun, and I absolutely loved every second of it. You are, however, able to dodge the things that are falling from the sky. You can dodge it at the very last frame, or avoid it completely if you have a boost available. Outside of the racing mode, there's not a lot this game has to offer. It's not always a bad thing, because the game is actually pretty solid. It's just, it has a lack of game modes. And the game modes that are available are pretty much the same as doing a normal race. For example, you have a challenge mode where you challenge a character, and it's basically just a 1v1 race. Also, I got absolutely screwed in this mode like the very last second of the race. Marvin isn't playing around, fool. He's just playing to win. But this isn't all you wanted to see, right? You wanted to see me play really rotten games, like really stinky ones, like the ones that come straight out of the pits of hell. I don't know why you guys want to see me suffer, but, you know, it has to be done. Alright, I'm about to do it. Here we go. Witness Warped Kart Racers. This is a game that features characters such as Peter Griffin, Hank Hill, and the dudes from American Dad. I don't know what his name is, Stan or something. Right off the bat, I'm having the worst experience yet. Wanna know why? Because it's exclusive to the Apple fucking Arcade. And I don't have a MacBook or a frickin' iPhone. I don't have all that stuff. Well, I do have an old MacBook that's from 2012 or something. We're really gonna do this, aren't we? So after trying to make it work on my old MacBook for like over 5 hours now, I actually pulled it off. It works. You wanna know why it's funny? My MacBook isn't supposed to be on this OS. It's supposed to be on a really old, like, dinosaur OS. And it wasn't allowed to update to a newer one. No. I needed to go through some extra hoops to make this work. I followed the tutorial of Matt Talks Tech, and that worked perfectly. I don't know if it's legal. I mean, it's a MacBook. It's supposed to run macOS, so I guess it is. And all this because the game requires macOS 12.0 or later. Thanks, Matt. Thanks to you, I can finally play the Family Guy game. Also, Apple Arcade isn't free, so I'm actually paying for this shit. Oh no. It is actually a good game? How is this possible? People want to see crap. They don't want to see this. I expected this game to be absolute dog shit. What am I gonna do now? Might as well continue now I've done all this work after all. As I said before, you can play as characters like Peter Griffin, Hank Hill, and Meg Griffin, like the daughter, like shut up Meg, you know, that one. And as far as Mario Kart clones go, this one is like the most obvious one. Like for God's sakes, it even has the hang glider. How obvious do you want to make it? Also, this game does not have that many game modes to begin with as well. It just has a racing mode and a battle mode. Both the same as Mario Kart pretty much. Also, the tracks aren't half bad. There's like one where you go through space and one where you go through Stewie's time machine. It's actually pretty good. If you have a MacBook or an iPhone, you might as well play Warped Kart Racers. If you don't, just don't bother to go through the same process as me, please. Don't be dumb, kids. You'll end up like me. Next game is Chocobo GP. And I actually made a little tutorial for you guys. Ever watch? How to play Chocobo GP on the Nintendo Switch. Step 1. Open the game and endure the most annoying music you will ever hear on a menu screen. Step 2. Load up the GP and annihilate everybody first try. Step 3. Notice that the game is loaded with microtransactions. Close out the game, never touch it again. Alright, next up we have Zero Gear. This is an old indie game on Steam. 2009 to be exact. And yeah, this is a Mario Kart clone, alright. If it is a good Mario Kart clone, that's the other question. It has the standard car customization. This was before Mario Kart 7, by the way. But not only can you customize your car, you can also customize your character. That's all good and all, but does it play well? Yeah, okay, I'll give it a pass. It's very mediocre, but it works. The racetracks are very basic, and so is everything else. The controls are a little bit comparable to Looney Tunes Space Race because you have a boost button and you can fill up your boost meter by driving in between these checkpoints. As for items, you have a tornado, a boxing glove, and some kind of pink robot who falls in love with you and chases you around the track. That one was pretty neat. The rest of the items are also pretty basic. You don't really have a drift button in this game, but you do have this kind of hop button that's bound to the spacebar. And yeah, it's kind of weird. I mean, that's the only way I can describe it. I don't know what situation you would use this, except if you get stuck or something. Also, the hit collision is kind of weird if you just ride into somebody. You just like flicker around. This game isn't really meant to be played with bots, but more with online people. But the servers of this game are, as expected, completely dead. So yeah, but you can actually still play this with friends, and I think you would have a good time if you just play it for a few minutes or maybe an hour or something. It would be good enough. It's only $4 on Steam anyway. And if you buy 4 copies of the game, you're only spending $8. So that's actually a pretty decent deal. And because of the price of the game, I can't complain too much about this. I mean, it is mediocre, okay, it has some stinky stuff, as you might say. But it's only $4. I mean, calm down. And it doesn't even have microtransactions. Chocobo GP did, and that game is like a full $50. That is actual bullshit right there. Oh boy, we're reaching the bottom of the iceberg, aren't we? Crazy Frog Racer? Are you actually taking the piss? There's no way this is gonna be good. Is there? No. No. This is the worst one yet. You've come to see shit straight out of hell? Crazy Frog Racer delivers, baby. Only a few seconds in and I already know I'm gonna have a fucking shitty time. And I'm sorry for cursing, but can you really blame me when this is what you have to deal with? Is there literally anybody who plays Crazy Frog Racer and goes like, oh joy, this is fun to play. I want to play the sequel. If a person like that exists, I'm staying the hell away from that person. Don't come near me, I'm scared. Like, everything about this is just awful. The way the game controls, it's way too fast. You fly all around the frickin' map. The maps all look the same. I'm going fucking mad, I tell you. I had more fun playing with the menu than playing the actual game. I'm dead serious. Alright, with all that out of the way, let's move on to the last game on the list. But I bet you I won't find anything worse than what I just played. Yeah, remember when I said I wouldn't find anything worse? Well, here you have Nicktoons Winners' Cup Racing for the PC. And it's not just any PC. We need to go back to the dinosaur age of PCs. Because this game refuses to work on my Windows 11 PC. So here you have good old Windows XP. I have not even started the game yet, and I'm already beginning to feel the rage. And that rage completely turned around in utter sorrow after playing the game. Because it's just as bad as Crazy Frog Racer, if not worse. You know when every single kart game so far has played with laps? Like, you go 3 laps around the racetrack? That's how it works, right? This game just flat out ignores that, because instead of laps, they just threw a bunch of checkpoints everywhere. I wonder how the development of this game must have gone. Like, oh wait, we finished the map, and then the head of the company just comes in and walk like, okay, fine. It releases in 1 week. And now the developers are like, okay, the map's done, but we haven't got the racetrack yet. Let's just throw a bunch of freaking checkpoints everywhere. This crap is official? It feels like a Flash game. This was a game actually available in stores. In fact, I have it right here. The box art looks fine as well. Imagine being a kid and looking at it like, oh, that looks cool. And then you play it and it's like, god damn it. Like, the box art looking good is as far as it goes because the rest is pure and utter garbage. The music is forgettable. Like, the gameplay, as I said before, it's just driving through a bunch of checkpoints, and there are in fact some characters to unlock, but it's not even worth it, because the game is just so bad that you won't even make it through the first cup anyway. Which is in fact the only cup, because I have done it. I unlocked Plankton with SpongeBob. So I guess if you play as Timmy, you probably will unlock Crocker if you play the same cup again. But anyway, I'm pretty much done here. These were all the games I wanted to show. I hope you all enjoyed it. Yeah, I bet you enjoyed watching me suffer, didn't you? And that's fine. That's what I'm here for. I would appreciate it if you enjoyed this video to like and subscribe to my channel and pressing the bell icon so you don't miss any videos. Plus, we're really close to 10k, so subscribing would help me out a lot. Thank you very much. So with that being said, have yourselves a damn good one, and I'll see you all in the next video. Also, Garfield Kart is the best game ever made. I'm gonna eat some lasagna now. Bye.